Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
The Super Eagles lifted the Unity Cup for the second time after a tense penalty shootout win over Jamaica. Now, having beaten Ghana 2-1, but while the victory is a boost, this is ahead of the World Cup qualifiers. The question remains, do Nigeria really have a clear football identity? In their recent friendly against Russia, the game ended 1-1 after Simi Ajayi scored an unfortunate own goal. Well, it's another episode on your favorite primetime show. My name is Messi Ebokpo. I hope you're having a great weekend already. Today we will be asking, and we're asking the question, do the Super Eagles have a football identity? Our guest is Mighty George. He's a sports journalist. He'll join us in no time. Remember, the Ways is all about you. You are the why in the Ways. It's important that you join the conversation daily and add your voice to it. All you need to do now is just head over to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, and invite your friends to join the show now. Now, when I open up the phone lines, I'd like to hear from you. I mean, let's talk about the Super Eagles. Let's talk about Nigeria and football style. That's when the phone lines are open. But I'd like to leave you with this particular quote, so please ponder on my quote for today. Football is a universal language. It brings people together, irrespective of their nationalities, culture, or beliefs. Jurgen Klopp, he was former Liverpool coach, if you like to say. We'll delve into this much later, and that's when I come back from this break. But in the meantime, please stay with us.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we will analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
You're still watching Ways, hashtag, what are you saying? In case you're just tuned in and you're wondering. Now, this is the time where I told you about what actually caught my interest in the news. So today, the first one that caught my interest is the fact that the federal government is planning to build bamboo houses for low and middle income earners in Nigeria. The federal government says it will use bamboo to build affordable and durable smart houses for low and medium income earners across the country. So if you do have that particular video, we could just run it through what it looks like. That's not what it is, but maybe just you have an idea of what the bamboo house would look like. Well, the permanent secretary of the Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology had said that in her explanation that adopting bamboo plants for smart houses in Nigeria will not only promote environmental sustainability, but it would also ensure that the construction process aligns with the principle of adaptability, comfort, and affordability for both low and medium income earners in Nigeria. That's actually what she said. Well, I would just say welcome to Wakanda. Away from that, crude oil rally or prices actually passed the federal government benchmark. The crude oil price has passed the federal government benchmark for 2025. Now, this is actually for the first time as it starts trading at $75.15 per barrel. Now, a lot of economic pundits, a lot of economists have a lot to say. We probably might, are we just going to be running on a budget deficit? What exactly is going to happen? What does this mean for the economy? I think that this is a conversation for another time. So, well, the benchmark for crude oil under the federal government of Nigeria says it was budgeted at $75 per barrel. Fingers crossed, and let's see how that pans out. Now, another one that caught my attention is that China is ready to drop all tariffs on African imports. Isn't that beautiful? Because China has said that it's ready to drop the tariff it charges on imports from all 53 African countries which it has diplomatic relations or ties with. Now, we already know that China is moving very swiftly and very, great with Africa, which has also called for a lot of concerns among others. Now, you have a lot of people saying that, hey, should this be something that Africans should celebrate about or rejoice? Because when this happens, it's like Africa is always a pawn, between these developed countries or countries in the global north. Now, the move was announced at the China-African Cooperation meeting, which comes as the continent is facing the possibility of an increased tariff on its product entering the United States. Don't forget that the trade war is actually going on. So it's like you have the United States with this trade war with Africa, and China is here saying, hey, we're going to drop all of the tariff on all African countries. Sounds like a great time to be an African. Now, China, don't forget, is Africa's largest trading partner, and a position it has held for almost 15 years, with Africa exporting goods to Asian nation worth around $170 billion, which you're looking at pounds, about 125 billion pounds. That's so much, to talk about. But fingers crossed, let's see how all of this pans out. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we will be heading straight to our conversation. Mighty George will be on standby. Of course, he's on standby already to join our conversation in no time. Please stay with us.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlights. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Hello, you're watching Hashtag Ways. What are you saying? And thank you so much for joining us. Now, today, the conversation is away from politics. We're just going to talk about sports. But really, can we have a conversation? Whatever conversation that we have, can we excuse politics away from it? Can we leave governance away from any other conversation? I'll just leave you to ponder on that particular one. Now, with the Unity Cup trophy secured, the attention has now shifted to the bigger stage where the FIFA World Cup qualifiers is the next big thing that will happen for the Nigerian Super Eagles. Now, Nigeria sits fourth in Group C with 7 points and 6 adrift of South Africa, and of course trailing Rwanda and Benin by just 1 point. It's a very tight race, and every match from now here on is very crucial. Not that we're having the match in recent times, but you know, in just a few months, we're just going to have that game. And so for the fans and stakeholders, the conversation continues around what defines the Super Eagles team as they push for the World Cup spot. Now, joining us to actually shed more light, make sense of all of this, is an amazing broadcast journalist. He's a sports journalist, if you like to say. Precisely, football is his thing. Mighty George joins us this evening all the way in Akwa Ibom State. Mighty George, thank you so much for joining us. We'll just take a quick break now and we'll get Mighty George to be on. All right, I'm being told that we have Mighty George. Thank you so much for joining me, Mighty George, tonight.
Thanks for having me.
I think you need to unmute your microphone or your device if you can hear me.
Well, good evening, Messi. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Hello,
you now.
Messi.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, can you hear me, George, please? If you can hear me, just go ahead and say you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Now, great. Once again, thank you for joining us. I'm not sure if you actually had all of the introductions and all that we've been going about, but let's talk about quickly before we get into the, the crux of the matter. The Super Eagles have actually had the last game they had was a friendly between Russia, so that friendly games just after they played for the Unity Cup, which they also won that cup. But as a sports journalist and someone who is a big fan of the Super Eagles, which I know, what do you think about, the outing of the Super Eagles in recent times?
Well, you cannot divorce the Super Eagles or the outing of the Super Eagles from the handlers of the Super Eagles. Unfortunately, since after the AFCON, which was just a little over a year ago, we have had about 3 coaches, from Pesero left, interestingly. We thought at the time, even though we had complained about his style of football, he won us the Africa Cup of Nations. I mean, he actually got us to the final, rather, of the Africa Cup of Nations. I still think about us winning it because I was live there, at the Felix Hofe Boeing Stadium where it looked like Nigeria had won it, but things just twisted. He got back. He asked for a review of his contract. Obviously, I mean, he was now an MON. He had national honors. He got us to the final, but that didn't happen. The NFF under Alhaji Ibrahim Gusto decided that it's time to look within and look at an assistant coach who has worked with Becerro, who was very close with him, spoke Spanish with him. Of course, Finidi George played in Spain for Real Betis, and he had this time as a youth coach in Real Betis. So the NFF thought he had learned a lot from Jose Pizarro, who was taking home a fat paycheck of $50,000 a month. So they couldn't afford that. They decided to go for a local coach, an indigenous coach. That didn't quite work out well, even though